Hello my friends and welcome back to spooky season here in the rabbit hole. It is in fact Halloween. I hope you all are having a wonderful Halloween this year. This might actually be the spookiest Halloween costume I've ever done. I think just because it's so realistic. I'm zinc oxide. Terrifying. I really like how this face paint is extremely drying, but if you think about it, that really just adds to the effect. And not only is my costume terrifying, but so is this month's What's News in Skincare. Yes, we are turning this series into a little bit more of the skincare-related news out there. Let me tell you, we've got some scary stuff coming up in this video. If you think witches and ghosts are scary, oh, you are going to be terrified in today's video, for we are talking about skincare brands from Brad Pitt, Jared Leto, Travis Barker. They do say reality is stranger than fiction, and I think this is the proof of that. If you are just stumbling upon this channel for the first time, my apologies. I promise I don't usually look like this, except for when I am reviewing certain mineral sunscreens, admittedly. In this series, we go over new releases and skincare news, and if you are not new to this channel, I want to update you all that I've decided to kind of switch this particular series into being a little bit heavier on the skincare news. There's a lot of it that comes out pretty much every month, and I thought it might be enjoyable for you to have it all in one place. Especially because I've been more consistent about doing the monthly try-ons. You can see this month's try-on from last week up in the cards. And as always, there are timestamps and links in the description box below, and yes indeed, for this month, I would like to start with the news. It is really wild. It is so wild. I feel like we've kind of been building up to this point in terms of introducing celebrity skincare lines. I've never seen so many of them all in one a short time frame, all of which leave me over here going, why did they come out with a skincare line? So let's start out with some celebrity skincare lines. First up, Brad Pitt's. I do feel like Brad Pitt's skincare line is the equivalent of bottling up the celebrities singing Imagine in the beginning of the pandemic. Was there anybody who was going, oh yeah, Brad Pitt, that's exactly who I anticipate to come out with a skincare line? Brad Pitt apparently cites his ex, who is Gwyneth Paltrow, as his inspiration for creating this line. And you just can't help but hear all of that and think, so his inspiration was to make as much money as Gwyneth Paltrow is making? I feel like the most fascinating thing to me about Brad Pitt's skincare line is that I have not seen anybody really taking this brand seriously. Instead, I've seen only really criticism. Have you seen anything else? And while I think that's remarkable in some ways, I think it's anticipated in other ways. I've seen quite a few news articles say that, people are just tired of skincare brands, period, at this point. The market is so oversaturated, and this concept of coming out with really expensive skincare products, as Brad Pitt did, it's just not, it's not appealing. And I know I've mentioned this in the past before, but I feel like it bears repeating. So a while ago, I watched Paris Hilton's documentary, which I highly recommend, even if you don't like Paris Hilton. The documentary is eye-opening. In one part of it, she's talking about how sad she is. She's just very deeply sad that she is only a multi-millionaire and not yet a billionaire. And to her, she just feels like, she hasn't really accomplished anything until she hits that billionaire status. Again, it's so out of touch. It's so remarkably out of touch because there's people who are starving. There's people who struggle to make $10,000 a year, and here's Paris Hilton sad that she's not a billionaire. But I think that summarizes everything that I suspect is really the root cause of all of these celebrity skincare brands. And for reasons I've given in past videos, I will not be purchasing Brad Pitt's brand, nor will I be purchasing any of these celebrity skincare brands. I've had some people ask. I think it's only because you know that I would rip the products to shreds, right? You know that. But in fairness, let's go ahead and take a look at his line, which I just learned as I sit here with you, is called Domaine skincare. The goal is to imitate the organic cycles of nature, its primeval beauty. There is no waste in nature. Anything left over or discarded becomes food for something else. This exemplary circular system is the inspiration for Domaine. Brad Pitt. Oh no, now I've got even more commentary. See, a lot of why I'm exhausted with more brands, as well as I suspect other people, is because, again, there's so much oversaturation on the market. There are more products than people could possibly use up on their skin, which means every time a company comes out with products, they are contributing to waste. And sometimes this conversation ends up limited to consumer responsibility in the sense of, well, it's your fault for buying too many products, or it's your fault for not recycling your empty skincare products. And while I think that's an important conversation, the problem that I have with that is that it neglects discussing the fact that there are companies producing these products. And even if all of the blame is on consumers for buying too much and not recycling and all of that, what about all of the products who customers don't buy? I think what I'm saying is it seems weird to me to focus entirely on the end point of the product cycle. What about towards the beginning? What about product manufacture and the fact that not everybody will buy all of those products, and so all of, not only the packaging is going to go to waste, but also all of the resources that were used to create those products that never ended up being used. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these prices. So we have a cleansing emulsion for $80. Oh my goodness. The fluid cream is $310. Oh, the serum is $385. Wow. Wow, these are really pricey products. In that video I put out about the Sephora skincare, I talked about how I do like paying a premium on products sometimes. Sometimes I feel the texture can be worth it, and and the formulation. And I had an interesting comment that really encapsulated what I was trying to get at there, and that is, I do feel like sometimes you might get more from a product that is, let's say, $60 to $100 than a product that is $10. I do feel that occasionally, not always, but occasionally. But that commenter said that it seems to max out in that, buying a $400 moisturizer typically isn't any better. It might even be worse, and I fully agree with that. I have felt that as well. You can go see my Augustinus Bader disaster that did not go well. That is pretty much the end of me trying really expensive products. It just was not worth it for me. I know some people love it. This is all just my opinion. But yeah, this is definitely in that range where, I just don't feel we have any more additional science to justify why you would spend almost $400 on a serum. Especially when most of the research that we've done for decades and decades is now on proven ingredients such as retinoids. Let's just go ahead and take a look at this $385 serum and see what's going on in the ingredients. Oh, of course. So the first ingredient is grapefruit water. Water, glycerin, pentylene glycol, diglycerin. Oh lord, it is the same base that you would find in any product. It's the same base. Okay, so a little bit of cica, like in many affordable Korean skincare products. Some sodium hyaluronate. What an uncommon ingredient. I cannot see any reason why anybody would spend $385 on this. If anything, it does kind of look like some Caudalie products. And Caudalie does have some more expensive products, but you can also get their serums for what, around $80 to $100, I would say. You don't need to tack on $300 more to buy Brad Pitt's skincare. Ugh. Thankfully, Brad Pitt's skincare line has already brought us some comedic relief. So when the brand first went live, they featured a blacklist including product ingredients that they would not be using. And as you can see on the website here, it originally said there were no conservatives such as parabens, phenoxyethanol. That is funny though, that is funny. Let us go ahead and move on to our next brand, which is from Travis Barker, who I do believe was a band member of Blink-182. Am I correct in that? And if I am correct, then what a huge missed opportunity. Why on earth is this brand not called What's My Age Again Skincare? I just don't understand how you missed out on that. Travis Barker introduced his skincare brand with the most MLM-worthy photo I've seen in quite some time, and the caption, "It's vegan, it's good, rub it all over your body." Wow. I'm so motivated to spend money on this now. So I did a little more digging on what inspired Travis Barker to create this line, and in all fairness, I will say that his story slightly makes a little bit more sense than Brad Pitt's skincare line, because apparently he had an accident that led him to reevaluate a lot of things about his life, and one of those is that he wants to make wellness more front and center to him. And you know, I really think that that's a story that probably many people can tell. I think that a lot of people have been through a similar story to that. And again, Travis Barker is somebody who does have more resources available to them to start up a brand. Where this gets really tricky is that this is already a pre-existing problem in the CBD industry, and that some of the people who are most excited about its legalization, who are, you know, deeply passionate about this, are already running into this issue of it's a struggle for their brands to survive as they now compete against people who were already rock stars, punk stars, whatever you want to call it. It's becoming a big issue. It's you know, another symptom of the wealth inequality that we're dealing with, which, by the way, I have a documentary recommendation for you that I think is here on YouTube. It is called Inequality for All. It is fascinating to think that that was filmed almost or roughly 10 years ago, I believe, because we're just seeing this greater shift in inequality, and this is, you know, really just another example of that, in my personal opinion. I guess I'm saying here there could be a little more passion behind Travis Barker's brand, but does that mean it's something that we need to run out and purchase? Well, let's take a look at the website. I'll have these linked below, but I won't be affiliating these, just so you all know. I guess I'm comfortable with chatting about them, but not so much with promoting them. Okay, so we have Courtney and Barker Wellness. Wow, a collaboration with Courtney. I am so shocked and surprised. Let's skip that and come back to that later. So we have some CBD and CBG maintenance tincture from $65. Alright, so it's for all lifestyles to improve your mood, focus, and overall wellness. Added green tea and other essential vitamins. CBG, CBD, green tea, vitamin B12, vitamin C. So are you supposed to ingest this, or is this a skincare product? No, you are supposed to ingest this. Okay, so the ingredients here. So I guess it's in a base of MCT oil. All right. 1 ounce for $65. I will say it's not the most expensive product I've ever seen. We have some pain relief cream from $60. Oh, we have a sustainable hoodie for $125. This is something I've griped about so much at this point that I'm tired of myself, but why is it so expensive to be sustainable? Again, coming back to customer responsibility. In a world where people are suffering, if you are saying, hey, it's better for the planet for you to spend $125 on this hoodie than to go to Walmart and buy a $20 hoodie. Hello, are you really gonna blame people for not being able to afford the $125 sustainable hoodie? Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. And that's all I want to say on Barker Wellness. We've got one more celebrity brand to get through, and that is Jared Leto's. Jared Leto is an actor who is most well known for his very popular hit, Morbius. Again, this line should have been called It's Morbin Time. And instead he named it Twentynine Palms, an 11-piece range of gender-neutral skincare, body hair, and hair care products. I can't believe I haven't yet touched on the fact that all of these brands are gender-neutral. That is supposed to be one of their biggest selling points. And one of the biggest backlashes that I've seen from the community is people saying, skincare already was gender-neutral. And it's so true. I have such a hard time imagining anybody thinking that brands like The Ordinary, Kiehl's are brands that aren't gender neutral. So much so that it seems like making a brand around this as a big selling point, I think it's a bad idea. I actually think it's a bad idea, largely because I watched Amore Pacific's Oatzy fail. That brand is already gone, and it had all of the markers for a successful brand, in my opinion. They had nice products, they were more affordable, they were going for a gender-neutral skincare brand that is based in Korea. And the brand still failed because, again, the market is so oversaturated. So to see all three of these celebrities come out with this as one of their main selling points, it's surprising. But anyway, according to Jared Leto, he was never really interested in beauty products. We've got some huge selling points already for this brand. The brand is officially alive as of the 25th, so we can go ahead and take a look at some of these products, which these prices are still high, but they look affordable compared to Brad Pitt's skincare line. However, I know some people have been critiquing the $97 eye cream. I'm sure I would too. In fact, let's take a look at the ingredients. Mira Luna Eye Cream, essential for stargazers, night riders, and wide-eyed dreamers. Is it though? Okay, I'll give them some credit. At least it's apparently a retinol eye cream with some caffeine and some ceramides, but you can get a better retinoid from the Beauty of Joseon retinol eye cream, I'm just saying. Honestly, the formula looks fine, it just looks severely overpriced. Like, again, you're paying an already very wealthy and successful with the film Morbius star. So again, I would just like to re-emphasize before we move on from this section that the reason I'm not interested in buying from celebrity brands, even to try out their products and, say it's not worth it, is because if I do that, I'm still taking time and money from myself that could go to other brands that I would much prefer to review. In particular, cute little indie brands where I know that there's a lot of passion behind them, but maybe not the kind of resources that Jared Leto, Brad Pitt, and Travis Barker all have. I'm tired already. We've got so much more news to cover, but at least we're done with celebrity brands. So now let's move on to some celebrity skincare advice. Apparently Kim Kardashian, yay, one of my favorite celebrities, came under fire for a recent post that she made on Instagram where she said, "Rubbing in your products can stretch the skin, break down collagen and elastin, and prevent proper absorption. Instead, applying your toner, serum, and moisturizers with a patting motion is not only less damaging to the skin structure, but it also stimulates blood flow and lymphatic drainage, and it helps prevent pilling." Do whatever you prefer. I tend to do a little bit of both. It is probably a good idea to overall be more gentle with your application, but the thing is, it just doesn't matter that much. I always feel like every time celebrities repeat these kind of antiquated ideas in skincare, it just really shows all of us who are a lot more invested in skincare that they're kind of all behind. And Kim Kardashian, as you all probably know, does have her own skincare brand. It's just fascinating to think that somebody with their own skincare brand is giving outdated advice. Okay, we're finally done talking about celebrities, so let's move on to talking about L'Oreal. L'Oreal to face lawsuit over wrinkle smoothing collagen claims. I really find this story to be extremely fascinating. I think, again, if you are a bit more of a skincare enthusiast, you might be really interested in this one also. So here's what's going on. Apparently, there are two plaintiffs who have said that L'Oreal is defrauding shoppers by suggesting that their two topical collagen products help smooth wrinkles. Here's what the lawsuit alleges. They are saying that this product contains collagen, except collagen is too large of a molecule to penetrate into your skin to smooth wrinkles. Now, we just talked about Kim Kardashian's outdated skincare advice, so really quickly before we proceed in this conversation, what do you think of this already? Because for me personally, when I'd gotten this far in the news article that I'll link below, I was thinking, oh, I'm totally on board with this, I really agree, because yes, collagen is too large to penetrate into your skin and really cause a lot of, deep changes. We've talked about this so much on this channel. Collagen is too large, and so because it's too large, what it does instead is it acts as a humectant. Here's where this gets really interesting. According to L'Oreal, they do not believe this lawsuit should continue because they say, "We never claimed that it is the collagen in this product that is responsible for smoothing wrinkles. Instead, what we're saying is our product does contain collagen, which acts as a very effective humectant, and by being a humectant, it adds moisture into the skin, which does smooth the appearance of wrinkles." Let me go ahead and quote to you what the judge said here. "It is wholly plausible that a reasonable customer shopping for cosmetics saw a product named Collagen Moisture Filler promising to smooth wrinkles and restore skin's cushion and associated this product with the cosmetic benefits of the collagen molecule." Fascinating. L'Oreal is a very large company who can very easily settle this and make things, feel right for these customers. But it really, depending on what happens with this case, it could set a very interesting precedent. And I just cannot help but wonder what's next, because as we've talked about on this very series for years at this point, there are a lot of companies who use kind of difficult phrasing that isn't quite clear to the customer. Think about all the times we've talked about retinol alternatives that are called products like retinol. If this case continues, at what point can customers say, hey, you said that this was retinol, we believed it was a retinol? All the times we've talked about complexes in products that say, 40% retinol, at what point are customers going to say, you didn't make this clear that this wasn't 40% retinol, instead it's only 0.4% retinol. You didn't make this clear. We have the right to sue you. So that's it for this month's skincare news, at least what I want to cover. In terms of turning over to talking about new releases and products, there's also really not a lot of new releases that I'm personally interested in. I mean, I just went over a bunch of new products, but that I'm personally interested in, not so much, because again, it's October 31st. This is that season where brands are coming out with a lot of sets, holiday gift sets. But nonetheless, there are a few things I want to announce in today's video. So in terms of drugstore skincare, one of my favorite brands, Bubble, is now available on the Ulta website. Oh my goodness, I am so excited. I also happen to notice that there are now some much more affordable skincare sets available. Oh my goodness, finally. So if you have been following this channel for a long time, you might remember that I actually haven't done as many trials with drugstore brands as I have more expensive brands, and that is simply because I used to like buying the sets and getting these small sizes so that I could really sample products before I committed to switching my entire routine permanently to them. Drugstore brands seem to be so resistant to the idea of making minis for customers to try their products, but how else can you know if a product really is for you than trying that product? We've needed this for years. Anyway, it's finally happening. I noticed that Good Molecules has their mini set available on the Ulta website for $24. There's a mini of the vanilla products for $6. And again, these are drugstore brands, so you are able to use the $3.50 off coupon with them. I will actually come back to a new release on the Ulta website in our high-end section, so stay tuned. And one more affordable brand update, the absolutely wonderful Geek and Gorgeous brand is now coming to the UK. They have now set up a UK website. I absolutely love that brand. I will link you my review in case you missed it. Such a wonderful brand. I don't have a lot of K-beauty for today's video, but there is one release that I am so excited for. This was just announced by Isntree. They have introduced their Chestnut LHA Jelly Cleansing Oil. I love Isntree. Quick spoiler, they are probably going to rank on my top 10 brands for 2022. An LHA Jelly Cleansing Oil sounds so divine. They say this removes makeup, clears pores, removes blackheads, improves skin texture. Oh, I want to try this one so badly. So to end out this video, I did want to talk about some new LED devices, both of which I feel are high-end, even though one of them is kind of considered affordable. So let's talk about that. I want to start with the Shani Darden by DC Pro LED Light Mask, which is dropped on the Sephora website. This LED mask is $1,900. What I wanted to say about this is, first of all, I do like Shani Darden as a person, but I just can't help but feel that this is really, really expensive for what it is. And I feel like I need to talk about this because I kind of critiqued Dr. Dennis Gross for, having this separate eye mask, the separate face mask, the separate body mask, all of which if you bought separately would add up to about $1,200. And I felt that was really expensive. And then Shani Darden comes out of nowhere and says, but I have a $1,900 LED mask. I was looking at it, and listen, I do like that it has that neck attachment because like I've talked about before, one of the benefits of LED is it's actually something that we have seen in studies is safe to be used on the neck area. That's a lot more tricky when we're talking about microcurrent, nanocurrent. It looks like she is using the proper wavelengths. It looks like she most likely is using the proper intensity. So it probably is a good LED mask. But the question always comes down to, does anybody need to spend this kind of money on this? Or again, is the Dr. Dennis Gross option adequate? Is the cure option adequate? My suspicion is it really looks like the same thing, again, except it's got that neck attachment. So it is my conclusion that you don't need to spend $1,900 to get a good LED mask. I think that the ones that I've talked about starting at $300 are good. I would like to talk about a new release on the Ulta website by the brand Aura. It is just called their LED Light Energy Mask, and it retails for $75. This one is tricky. I don't know if this is affordable or high-end because it's $75. It is certainly a much more inexpensive LED mask. But y'all, I'm really skeptical of this, I have to say. So the way LED masks work is that each LED that is positioned inside of that mask delivers photons into your skin. Now, with this specific mask design, as you can see, what they're doing is they're shooting LED through these kind of cables. And my question with that, my concern with that, is I can't help but suspect that you wouldn't actually be getting those photons into your skin, at least certainly not to the same levels that you would with something like the Dr. Dennis Gross mask. Or the Shani Darden mask, which would also work the same exact way. This, I can't help but think it would be much more diffused. You'd really be sending the LEDs in this direction, which would send them out a little bit in, perhaps. So yes, it is a question of intensity for me when I look at this design. The second thing I'm questioning is they say that it has 7 LED light color modes, and they're actually listing out the wavelengths. But if you look at the provided pictures, they're showing green, red, and blue. Now, I haven't tried this, so it's difficult for me to say what is actually going on here. This is all just my suspicion, my opinion. But I'm suspecting that this is using tricolor LEDs, which contain red, green, and blue. And what happens with tricolor LEDs is you have those 3 colors positioned into one bulb, and as such, that means you can actually make quite a wide variety of colors. And yet, in their little picture here, they're showing the different wavelengths. Well, you wouldn't actually be getting different wavelengths. What you'd be getting is a different effect for your eyes. Now, that's not to say you aren't getting beneficial wavelengths, because if they are using red LEDs at the studied wavelengths, if they're using blue LEDs at the studied wavelengths, you could be getting benefits from those. But that doesn't automatically assume that you are getting the benefits of yellow wavelengths. I mean, they're saying it features 7 LED light therapy modes, but they're not saying that it features 7 LED bulbs in these different wavelengths. Is all of this making sense? Basically, what I'm saying with this one is I feel like there's not enough information given, and the limited information that is provided, such as where the LEDs themselves are placed, makes me think that this is probably not going to compare to those more pricey masks. It's funny, I feel like earlier in this video I said there's a price range where I do enjoy products, $60 to $100. I feel like that might be what's happening with these LED masks. I don't feel like the Shani Darden mask is worth almost $2,000, and I feel like this $75 mask, it just might not give you the same kind of benefits that a $300 to $400 mask would. It's funny because in comparing this to skincare products, everything is expensive, but all the more reason I really wanted to make sure to share this, because I just don't feel convinced that this is a good way to spend $75. In fact, I've thought about making my own LED mask. I mean, it would be amazing. It would be amazing if I could make a YouTube tutorial of how to DIY your own LED mask. But the reason I haven't done that yet is because it would still be very expensive. It wouldn't be a craft store $20 make your own comparable to these $500 masks project. It wouldn't be. You'd have to drop, I think, probably $100 to $200 easily, and you'd have to do all of the, soldering yourself. It would be a lot of work, which is the exact reason I haven't done it, which I assume is the exact reason I haven't come across a video of somebody else doing this. Yeah, it's still pretty expensive to have LED therapy. Does all of that make sense? Anyway, I haven't tried either of those. As always, feel free to comment if you have, or if you have any thoughts on this video, for we have arrived at the end. I hope you all enjoyed watching today's video. I hope you are all having a wonderful Halloween. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did enjoy today's video, and I will see you all next time.